and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy. Hey guys! Tonight we trace ancient Egyptian daily life, from dawn's first light to moonlit rituals, imagining the sights, sounds, and smells of the Nile's banks. You probably won't survive the endless heat or the crowds at the market, but don't worry, you're just visiting. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know your location and local time in the comments. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You wake to the warm, dusty glow seeping through your reed mat in a small mud brick home on the banks of the Nile. The air is thick with a mix of river mist and the faint aroma of baked bread already cooling on windowsills. Outside, the roosters crow insistently, competing with the low bleating of and the clatter of wood wheels on packed earth roads. The sun has barely risen, but the village is already stirring. As you push aside your reed mat, you notice the sharp scent of the baked barley bread your wife made last night, still warm, waiting for breakfast. The sun glints off the ochre walls of neighboring houses, catching the fluttering linen curtains. You step outside, feeling the cool morning breeze brush your skin, a rare relief before the day's heat builds. The morning in ancient Egypt is a race against the relentless sun. Men and women move briskly to complete chores before the midday blaze. You trudge toward the communal bakery where bread is made for the whole family. The scent of yeast and toasted grain fills the air, mingling with the earthy smell of mud and papyrus terrace mats drying on rooftops. In these early hours, children are already awake. Some helping fetch water from the Nile in woven baskets. The water splashes, cool and fresh, against sun-warmed skin, and you hear the distant laughter of a child spotting a small crocodile lurking near the riverbank, a reminder of nature's ever-present danger. Historians still argue whether crocodiles were feared outright or sometimes revered in local folklore. You wander further to the small animal pens where goats and ducks stir quietly. A goat bleats for its morning feed, and you brush hay from your hands as you toss a few stalks into the enclosure. Nearby, a man smooths clay over mud bricks, preparing to build another room before the heat forces him inside. You probably wouldn't last a day managing all these early chores under the scorching sun. But for now, you're an observer, soaking in the gentle hum of in this ancient village. The sun has climbed a bit higher now, spilling warm light across the Nile's shimmering surface. You follow the soft sounds of splashing water and the gentle chatter of fishermen preparing for their morning catch. The river is their lifeblood, a vast, slow-moving highway teeming with catfish, tilapia, and the infamous Nile perch. You step down the river bank, the soft mud squelching beneath your sandals, and watch as men push slender wooden boats called feluccas into the water. Nets woven tightly by hand are spread out like spider webs, waiting to trap the day's catch. The scent of wet wood and fresh fish mingles with the sharp tang of river reeds swaying in the breeze. Nearby, a boy tosses a small catfish back into the water, its whisker-like barbels twitching as it darts away. Interestingly, catfish were not just a source of food, but held a place in local belief. Some fishermen believed that catfish could predict flooding patterns by their behavior, though historians still argue how widespread and serious these beliefs truly were. You watch the fishermen coordinate, their movements smooth and practiced, casting nets with almost balletic precision. The river itself seems to pulse with life, each ripple reflecting the golden sunlight and the shadows of palm trees lining the banks. Occasionally, a kingfisher swoops down, slicing through the air to snatch a small fish, its brilliant blue feathers flashing in the sun. As the boats drift lazily downriver, you notice baskets piled high with freshly caught fish ready for the market. The fishermen joke and exchange stories, their voices carrying a playful rhythm over the water, mingling with the lapping waves. You can almost feel the humid air pressing gently against your skin, carrying the salty scent of the river. Interestingly, fish bones found in ancient middens suggest that certain species were preferred delicacies, while others were left untouched. Historians still debate whether some fish were reserved for temples or royal tables, hinting at a complex social food hierarchy. You linger by the water's edge, imagining the taste of freshly grilled fish seasoned with wild herbs and salt, eaten while watching the sun climb ever higher. It's peaceful here except for the occasional splash when a crocodile surfaces just beyond the fishermen's boats, reminding you that this serene river is also home to formidable predators. But don't worry too much. Crocodile attacks were rare and often exaggerated. Still, local tales caution against wandering too close after dark. The river's life is vibrant, layered with mystery and daily survival, much like the people who call it home. The marketplace pulses with quiet energy as you stroll through the narrow streets lined with wooden stalls and woven mats. It's a kaleidoscope of colors, vibrant spices piled in conical mounds, bolts of linen shimmering under the sun, and jars filled with mysterious perfumes that tease your senses. The scent of frankincense and myrrh mingles with the earthy aroma of freshly harvested vegetables. Vendors call out softly, their voices weaving together in a gentle chorus, offering their wares to the steady flow of buyers. You watch as an elderly woman carefully measures out cumin seeds, her weathered hands steady and practiced. Nearby, a young man unwraps a bundle of papyrus scrolls. The faint rustling sound blending into the marketplace symphony. One peculiar item catches your eye: a small vial labeled as Kifi, a fragrant incense blend. It's said to calm nerves and invite sweet dreams. But historians still debate the exact recipes used and whether it was truly used as a sleep aid or more for religious ceremonies. As you meander, you notice the intricate craftsmanship of jewelry vendors who work tiny gold beads into delicate collars and bracelets. Their fingers move swiftly, weaving patterns passed down through generations. Some pieces incorporate turquoise and carnelian, stones believed to carry protective powers. Trade in this bustling market isn't just local. Merchants from faraway lands bring exotic goods, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, cedar wood from Lebanon, even rare shells from distant coasts. Scholars continue to argue about the extent of these trade routes and how much influence foreign goods had on daily Egyptian life. Children dart between stalls, clutching small clay toys, their laughter rising like bird song above the hum of commerce. A street musician strums a harp, its gentle melodies floating lazily in the warm air, adding a soothing backdrop to the pause by a stall selling pickled dates and olives, pondering the odd preservation methods used, some involving natron, a naturally occurring salt mixture. Interestingly, historians debate how these preservation techniques influenced flavor and storage longevity, especially under Egypt's dry climate. The market is a sensory feast, a place where daily life and the broader ancient world converge in a slow, rhythmic dance. You can almost taste the sweet honey drizzled on freshly baked bread. Hear the muted clink of metal coins, and feel the soft linen brushing against your skin as you move. And just as you're about to leave, a merchant offers you a sip of hibiscus tea, its tartness awakening your senses and grounding you in this timeless moment. The quiet rhythm of home life settles around you as you step inside a typical ancient Egyptian household. The air is cool and scented faintly with lotus blossoms and incense, a gentle contrast to the blazing sun outside. Women move gracefully about, tending to their daily chores, while children play quietly near woven mats. Households are more than just physical spaces, they're microcosms of ancient society, with clearly defined roles that sometimes surprise you. Women manage not only domestic duties like cooking and weaving, but also engage in business and property ownership. In fact, it might surprise you to learn that women could legally own land, a fact that challenges many modern assumptions about gender roles in antiquity. Historians still argue about how widespread and socially accepted this was, but it's clear that women wielded more power than many expect. You watch as a mother carefully measures grain, preparing to bake bread over an open hearth. Her fingers deftly mix flour, water, and a pinch of salt, all while keeping a watchful eye on her youngest child. Nearby, a teenage daughter sorts flax fibers, preparing them for spinning into linen thread, the fabric of Egyptian fashion. Men tend to tasks like carpentry, fishing, or working in the fields, though there's considerable overlap. Even children have roles from helping gather water to assisting with chores that build skills for adulthood. One quirky detail: some Egyptian women dyed their hair with henna or even wore elaborate wigs made from human hair and palm fibers. Wigs weren't just fashion statements, but often a sign of social status and cleanliness. Interestingly, the exact materials and construction techniques are topics still debated by scholars studying archaeological finds. You're struck by the domestic sounds, the rhythmic tapping of weaving looms, the low murmur of conversation in ancient tongues, and the occasional clink of pottery being arranged. The tactile feel of woven baskets, smooth pottery surfaces, and rough linen cloth fills your senses. As you linger, the household cat, valued as a hunter of rodents, prowls silently across the floor, its soft pads almost invisible against the cool stone. The reverence for cats runs deep, sometimes even elevating them to divine status, a subject that still fascinates historians exploring ancient belief systems. The balance of work, family, and social obligation here forms a delicate dance, a timeless reminder that even thousands of years ago, life's complexities were woven into the fabric of everyday living. The soft rustle of linen swishes past as you take in the elegant simplicity of ancient Egyptian clothing and cosmetics, an everyday ritual that's more art than routine. You imagine the feel of finely woven linen against your skin, light, breathable, and perfect for the desert heat. kilts, women drape themselves in long sheath dresses, and children often go bare to keep cool. Linen wasn't just fabric, it was status. The finer the weave, the higher your social standing, and you can almost hear the whisper of debate among historians over just how luxurious some of these textiles really were. Were the pharaoh's robes really as exquisitely fine as tales suggest, or is that part myth? Scholars still argue. You watch an artisan applying makeup with careful precision, black coal lining the eyes to ward off the sun's glare, and legend has it, evil spirits too. The scent of fragrant oils made from flowers like jasmine and lotus fills the room. Their delicate aroma both calming and a bit intoxicating. Now, here's a quirky detail that always raises eyebrows. Crocodile dung as sunscreen. Yes, you heard that right. Some ancient recipes reportedly used a paste made from crocodile dung to protect skin from the harsh sun. Whether that was a common practice or just a fringe remedy remains a hot topic among researchers, with many questioning the efficacy and hygiene of this bizarre concoction. Wigs, too, play a fascinating role in daily fashion. Not only were they a statement of beauty and cleanliness, but they were also practical shields against lice and the intense sun. Some wigs were even scented or powdered with incense, adding a layer of sensory delight. The smell of freshly crushed malachite, a green mineral used in eye makeup, tickles your nose, and you picture artisans grinding stones into fine powder for cosmetics, a process both delicate and time-consuming. It's incredible how beauty routines from thousands of years ago echo through time. As you imagine slipping on those soft linen robes and feeling the cool weight of a beaded collar, you realize that fashion and grooming in ancient Egypt were less about vanity and more about connection to gods, to status, and to daily life's rhythm. The golden sun rises higher, casting long shadows over temples where morning prayers begin with solemn reverence. You step softly on worn stone floors, your footsteps echoing in the vast halls lined with towering columns carved with hieroglyphs. The air is thick with the scent of burning incense, mingling with the faint fragrance of lotus flowers placed as offerings. Priests move gracefully, their linen robes rustling quietly as they perform rituals meant to honor gods like Ra, Isis, and Osiris. You watch as an elaborate procession carries statues of deities through temple courtyards, while chants rise and fall like waves, weaving a gentle sonic tapestry that feels both ancient and soothing. Religious routines are more than ceremony. They are the heartbeat of society, anchoring daily life in cosmic order. Yet historians still argue whether these rituals were primarily for communal cohesion or driven by genuine spiritual belief, or perhaps a mix of both. Some suggest temple priests wielded significant political power behind the scenes, a subtle influence not always evident in the grand displays. You notice small offerings, loaves of bread, bowls of beer, and fragrant oils arranged meticulously on altars. Each gift carries symbolic meaning, a gesture of respect and hope for favor. There's a certain peaceful rhythm in the repetition, the quiet certainty that the gods are watching, guiding. One quirky ritual involves the opening of the mouth ceremony, a practice intended to restore the senses of statues and mummies so that they might breathe, see, and hear in the afterlife. It sounds a bit like a silent mime show, and historians still debate how literally these ceremonies were taken. The soft murmur of prayers, the flicker of oil lamps, and the scent of sacred herbs combine into an immersive experience that transcends time. You can almost feel the cool marble under your feet, the slight breeze wafting through open temple doors, and the communal heartbeat of worshippers united in devotion. As the morning rituals wind down, you realize this gentle spirituality is woven seamlessly into the fabric of everyday life, a constant, comforting presence amid the bustle of the ancient world. You settle beside a young apprentice learning the ancient art of hieroglyphs, watching as he carefully traces symbols onto papyrus with a reed brush dipped in black ink. The soft scratching sound is oddly calming, and you can almost taste the dry, papery scent filling the small scriptorium. This place is a quiet sanctuary of knowledge in a bustling world. Education in ancient Egypt is a privilege, mostly reserved for boys of wealthy families who aspire to become scribes, keepers of records, poets, and administrators. You feel the weight of tradition as the boy recites mnemonic rhymes to remember complex signs, his voice steady but full of youthful curiosity. One fascinating detail: scribes used a special pen made from the rush plant, sharpened carefully to a point. The exact technique for crafting these pens varies among scholars, who debate whether some were more like brushes or quills. The precision needed to form each hieroglyph is astonishing, a blend of art and science. As you look around, you notice shelves filled with scrolls containing everything from legal contracts to love poetry. The sheer volume of written work reminds you how important record keeping was to Egyptian society, ensuring laws, taxes, and histories endured through generations. Despite the seriousness, there's room for humor here. Some ancient graffiti discovered in temples includes playful jokes and caricatures, showing that even scribes had a lighter side. Historians continue to explore how widespread this casual writing was and what it reveals about everyday life. You imagine the scribe's daily routine: long hours hunched over papyrus, the faint sound of water from nearby canals trickling through open windows, and the occasional breeze that cools their sweat-dampened skin. Though education was limited, the role of the scribe was vital, an intellectual backbone of society that preserved knowledge and culture, even as the desert winds blew relentlessly outside. The afternoon sun filters softly through palm leaves as you find yourself in a shaded courtyard where families gather for leisure, laughter, and the gentle clatter of ancient board games. You settle beside a group of men and children engaged in Senate, a popular pastime whose rules historians still puzzle over, but whose calming effect is clear. The wooden board is worn smooth, with carved squares and small pebbles used as game pieces. As you watch, you feel the subtle tension and camaraderie among players, their hushed voices mingling with bird song and the rustle of papyrus reeds. Music floats through the air, a woman strumming a harp, her fingers dancing lightly over strings made from gut or plant fibers. Nearby, a flute player exhales soft melodies, weaving a soundtrack for this serene moment. Leisure was an essential part of life, balancing hard labor with moments of connection and rest. Oddly enough, some scholars suggest that games like Senate were not just entertainment but also held religious significance, perhaps symbolizing the journey of the soul through the afterlife. Whether players consciously embraced this meaning or simply enjoyed a good game remains a topic of lively debate. You notice children playing with spinning tops and clay dolls, their faces bright with innocent joy. It's easy to imagine the soft dust of the courtyard warming beneath their feet, the occasional waft of freshly baked bread from nearby kitchens mixing with the music and laughter. As the afternoon stretches on, you relax into the gentle rhythm of this ancient leisure time, appreciating the universal human need to unwind and connect. The slow, deliberate moves of the game, the soothing melodies, and the shared smiles form a timeless tableau, reminding you that even thousands of years ago, life was made richer by play. You take a deep breath. The scent of palm and warm earth grounding you in this peaceful moment before the day shifts once again. As the day moves toward its warmer peak, you find yourself drawn into the gentle bustle of preparing food, the heart of daily life and celebration. The air is fragrant with roasted grains, fresh herbs, and the tang of fermented fish sauce, known as garum in later cultures, but a distant cousin of Egyptian favorites. You watch as the cook stirs a thick stew of lentils and onions over a low fire, while nearby flatbreads puff in a clay oven, their warm, yeasty aroma tempting your senses. Food here is simple yet nourishing, built on staples like emmer wheat, barley, and a variety of vegetables. One surprising tidbit: natron, a naturally occurring salt mixture, was often used to preserve food. This practice left some dishes with an unusual texture and flavor that modern palates might find odd. argue about how extensively natron was used for preservation versus ritual purification purposes. Fish and fowl play a large role on the menu, and you would imagine the delicate taste of grilled tilapia seasoned with wild herbs. The rich Nile silt helps nourish crops, and farmers use sophisticated irrigation methods, some of which scholars still debate regarding their origins and efficiency. Feasts were communal affairs, often accompanied by music, dance, and the sharing of stories. You picture a family gathered under the shade of date palms, plates of roasted meat and honey-sweetened cakes passed around in a slow, social rhythm. As you savor these sensory details, the mingling aromas and soft clinking of pottery create an almost hypnotic atmosphere. Food in ancient Egypt was not just sustenance. It was a ritual, a bond between people, and a symbol of divine blessing. You take a moment to imagine biting into a honey-drizzled date, the sticky sweetness melting on your tongue, reminding you that some pleasures transcend time. The gentle afternoon light filters through woven reed blinds as you step into the healer's tent, a place of quiet mystery and ancient wisdom. Herbs hang from the rafters, fragrant bundles of thyme, coriander, and juniper, each carefully dried and labeled with symbols you don't quite understand. The scent is soothing, a blend of earth and spice that fills the warm air. You watch as the healer mixes poultices from crushed plants, chanting softly to invoke protective spirits. Medicine in ancient Egypt was a curious blend of practical remedies and magical incantations, a dual approach to healing that still puzzles scholars. Historians argue about how much of this was truly effective versus symbolic. A curious detail catches your eye. The use of honey, not just as food, but as a wound dressing because of its antibacterial properties, a practice surprisingly ahead of its time. Meanwhile, spells written on papyrus were recited to ward off evil spirits thought to cause illness, adding a spiritual layer to healing. The healer's tools are simple stone mortars, bronze knives, and reed brushes, but their knowledge is vast. You notice a small jar of natron powder, used both for cleansing wounds and in mummification, a substance whose practical and ritual uses continue to intrigue researchers. You sit quietly as the healer performs a gentle massage using oils infused with aromatic plants. The sensation is calming, and you feel the stress of the day begin to melt away, much like the worries that the Egyptians believed could be lifted through ritual care. In a corner, a child watches with wide eyes, perhaps imagining a future as a healer or priestess. The passing of knowledge is as delicate and vital as the healing itself, ensuring traditions survive even as the world changes. You leave the tent feeling a profound respect for this ancient blend of science and spirit, a reminder that healing has always been as much about hope as it is about medicine. The rhythmic tapping of a chisel on stone leads you to a bustling workshop where artisans shape the very soul of Egyptian craftsmanship. You run your fingers over cool, smooth pottery, a mixture of reds and earthy browns, each piece telling a story of skilled hands and patient minds. The scent of wet clay mingles with the faint aroma of incense burning nearby. You watch a jeweler carefully inlay tiny pieces of turquoise and carnelian into a gold collar, his eyes narrowed in concentration. These precious stones were not just beautiful, but believed to carry protective powers, symbols of status and spiritual connection. The artistry is meticulous, each detail crafted with reverence and precision. One forgotten craft recently rediscovered involves intricate faience glazing, a technique producing bright, glossy surfaces that shimmer like gemstones. Historians and archaeologists debate how the ancient Egyptians perfected this process, as the technology was remarkably advanced for its time. Nearby, potters spin their wheels slowly, shaping vessels destined for homes, temples, and tombs. The tactile feel of wet clay reminds you of the earth itself, a raw material transformed into objects of daily use and sacred importance. As the sun shifts, you catch the glint of bronze tools catching the light, evidence of metalworking skills that supported everything from farming implements to fine jewelry. The balance between utility and beauty is striking. The workshop hums with quiet focus and occasional bursts of laughter, a testament to the pride and community shared among craftspeople. You imagine the tactile pleasure of shaping soft clay, the scent of heated metal, and the gentle clinking of beads as necklaces take form. This delicate blend of creativity and tradition preserves not only objects but culture itself, passed down through hands like yours, steady, patient, and attentive. The fading light casts long shadows as families gather around flickering oil lamps, their soft glow illuminating faces eager for stories. You settle near a group sharing tales beneath a woven canopy, the warm scent of date palm sap sweetening the air. The gentle murmur of voices rises and falls like a lullaby. Ancient Egyptian storytelling is a sacred tradition, blending history, myth, and wisdom. You listen as the storyteller weaves a tale of gods and heroes, their words painting vivid pictures of battles, love, and cosmic balance. This oral heritage is the cornerstone of culture, preserving values and lessons across generations. A quirky detail emerges. Some stories involve animal characters acting out human follies, a technique scholars compare to modern fables. Historians debate how much humor and satire were embraced in these narratives versus their moral seriousness. Children snuggle closer, their eyes wide and reflecting the flickering flames. The storyteller's voice lowers to a whisper, inviting the listeners into worlds both familiar and fantastical. textures of desert sands, the cool rush of the Nile, and the endless stars that watch silently above. The night air carries the soft croaking of frogs and the distant calls of night birds, blending with the cadence of ancient words. You feel the timeless connection between past and present, woven by the spoken voice. As the stories wind down, the community feels united, comforted by shared memories and dreams. You close your eyes briefly, letting the rhythm of voices and the glow of lamplight ease your mind, ready to drift deeper into the night. The night deepens, and with it comes a shift in atmosphere, a move toward rituals both mysterious and intimate. You find yourself in a quiet chamber where soft chants echo against stone walls, candles flickering as shadows dance in gentle rhythm. The scent of frankincense curls through the air, wrapping you in a sense of calm. Nighttime rituals in ancient Egypt blend spirituality and daily life, invoking protection for the household and guidance through dreams. You witness the careful arrangement of offerings, milk, honey, and fresh flowers placed with reverence to ensure safe passage through the night. One intriguing ritual involves sleep temples, where people sought healing and divine messages through guided dreams. Priests acted as interpreters of these nocturnal visions, though historians still debate the extent to which dream interpretation influenced medical practice versus spiritual belief. Soft murmurs rise and fall as prayers are whispered, asking for the benevolence of gods like Thoth and Hathor, guardians of wisdom and dreams. The gentle cadence of voices, combined with the flickering light, creates an almost hypnotic effect, coaxing the mind toward rest. You feel the texture of cool linen sheets beneath your fingertips and hear the distant rush of the Nile, a constant presence in the background. The protective eye of Horus is painted carefully on doorways, a symbol to ward off harm while you sleep. The blending of physical care and spiritual guardianship offers comfort, a bridge between the seen and unseen worlds. This nightly ritual is both a pause and a promise that in darkness one is still watched over and connected. You close your eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the gentle embrace of an ancient night slowly folding you into dreams yet to come. As the night matures, you find yourself drifting along the Nile's edge, where the soothing chorus of crickets and distant water lapping creates a natural lullaby. The air is cool now, carrying a gentle scent of jasmine and damp earth, and the sky overhead is a tapestry of stars shimmering like scattered jewels. The river's presence is constant, a silent witness to countless generations. You imagine the quiet homes nestled along its banks, their inhabitants resting after days filled with work and ritual. The rhythms of the Nile dictate the flow of life from planting and harvest to celebrations and mourning. The night is also a time for reflection, where people gaze at constellations and ponder mysteries both earthly and divine. Stories of gods riding across the sky in solar boats remind you that to these ancient eyes, the heavens were alive with meaning and movement. You hear the soft rustle of palm fronds and the occasional call of a night bird, sounds that have echoed here for millennia. The tranquility is profound, inviting you to release the day's worries and slip into peaceful slumber. Historians still debate the precise significance of some nocturnal customs, but it's clear that nightfall was embraced as a sacred space for rest, healing, and connection with the divine. You feel the cool Nile breeze brush your skin, a whispered promise of renewal. The world feels hushed, suspended between time and eternity, where where dreams and reality gently entwine. As you settle into this quiet moment, the slow pulse of the river becomes your heartbeat, guiding you softly into the realm of sleep. The gentle night air carries with it the soft murmur of life along the Nile frogs croaking in rhythmic chorus, the distant splash of water against wooden boats, and the faint scent of blooming lotus flowers drifting from nearby ponds. You feel wrapped in this ancient world, the heartbeat of a civilization pulsing quietly in the darkness. As you reflect on the day you've wandered through the dawn shores, the fishermen's songs, the marketplace's delicate perfumes, and the stories told beneath flickering lamps, you realize that daily life in ancient Egypt was a tapestry woven with threads of simplicity and profound ritual. It was a world where the mundane and the divine intertwined seamlessly, where every breath and movement carried meaning. The sounds of nighttime rituals and the promise of dreams offer comfort, a reminder that rest is as sacred as work. The cool Nile breeze whispers a lullaby, coaxing your thoughts to drift gently away. Though thousands of years separate you from this world, the rhythm of life, the care for family, the need for connection, the pursuit of beauty and understanding feels remarkably familiar. It is in these timeless patterns that we find kinship with the past. As you close your eyes, let the images of sun-drenched fields, shaded courtyards, and star-studded skies mingle with your own dreams. Know that this journey through ancient daily life is a quiet bridge, linking your world with theirs in a gentle, enduring embrace. Now breathe deeply and surrender to the night. The Nile flows on, steady and eternal, carrying you softly into sleep's embrace. As the moon continues its slow arc across the sky, you feel yourself drifting deeper into the timeless rhythms of ancient Egypt's nights. The subtle sounds around you, the distant howl of a jackal, the soft rustling of papyrus reeds, and the occasional splash of water create a soothing soundscape landscape. A gentle lullaby whispered by the desert itself. You imagine the modest homes now silent, their inhabitants wrapped in linen sheets, breathing softly under the watchful eyes of protective amulets. These small charms, often fashioned from faience or carved stones, were believed to guard sleepers against unseen dangers, a tender gesture of love and care passed from one generation to the next. Sleep was not simply rest, but a sacred journey. Some dreamers visited temples seeking divine messages, while others found comfort in nightly rituals meant to invite peaceful visions. The boundary between waking and dreaming was fluid, a space where hope and memory intertwined. The night sky, unpolluted by modern lights, blazes with countless stars, constellations telling stories older than time itself. The ancient Egyptians saw the heavens as a cosmic mirror of their earthly lives, where gods sailed on celestial boats and the cycle of life and death played out in brilliant light. You feel the soft earth beneath you, cool and reassuring, grounding you in this ancient moment. The warm breeze carries whispers of the past, tales of love, labor, and quiet devotion. As you nestle into this serene darkness, the slow pulse of history matches your heartbeat, a soothing rhythm inviting you to let go and surrender to rest. Sleep now, knowing that across the ages, countless souls have found peace beneath these same stars. As your eyelids grow heavy and the world around you softens into shadow, imagine yourself resting beside the gentle flow of the Nile under a vast starlit sky. The warmth of the day fades into a soothing coolness, and the quiet sounds of the night distant frogs croaking, a soft breeze rustling through palm leaves, and the gentle lapping of water wrap around you like a comforting blanket. You are cradled by time itself, where ancient voices whisper through the rustling reeds, and the echoes of countless days and nights drift gently into your dreams. The simple rhythms of daily life, the rising sun, market's hum, the laughter of children, the quiet prayers blend seamlessly with the tranquil night, reminding you that no matter how far we travel through history, these moments of peace and connection remain. Breathe deeply and feel the timeless calm wash over you. Imagine the soft linen sheets, the fragrant lotus blossoms, and the steady heartbeat of a civilization that thrived along this great river. Let your mind wander slowly through fields bathed in moonlight and homes filled with warmth and love. As you drift further, know that you are part of an unbroken chain, connected by the gentle pulse of life that stretches from the banks of the Nile to your own quiet space tonight. Rest now in this shared stillness, embraced by the night and the stories whispered through time. Good night and sweet dreams. Hey guys, tonight we trace ancient Egyptian daily life, from dawn's first light to moonlit rituals, imagining the sights, sounds, and smells of the Nile's banks. You probably won't survive the endless heat or the crowds at the market, but don't worry, you're just visiting. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know your location and local time in the comments. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You wake to the warm, dusty glow seeping through your reed mat in a small mud brick home on the banks of the Nile. The air is thick with the mix of river mist and the faint aroma of baked bread already cooling on windowsills. Outside, the roosters crow insistently, competing with the low bleating of goats and the clatter of wooden wheels on packed earth roads. Cool morning breeze brush your skin, a rare relief before the day's heat. is a race against the relentless sun. Men and women move briskly to complete chores before the midday blaze. You trudge toward the communal bakery where bread is made for the whole family. The scent of yeast and toasted grain fills the air, mingling with the earthy smell of mud and papyrus mats drying on rooftops. In these early hours, children are already awake, some helping fetch water from the Nile in woven baskets. The water splashes, cool and fresh, against sun-warm skin, and you hear the distant laughter of a child spotting a small crocodile lurking near the riverbank, a reminder of nature's ever-present danger. Historians still argue whether crocodiles were feared outright or sometimes revered in local folklore. You wander further to the small animal pens where goats and ducks stir quietly. A goat bleats for its morning feed, and you brush hay from your hands as you toss a few stalks into the enclosure. Nearby, a man smooths clay over mud bricks, preparing to build another room before the heat forces him inside. You probably wouldn't last a day managing all these early chores under the scorching sun. But for now, you're an observer, soaking in the gentle hum of dawn in this ancient village. The sun has climbed a bit higher now, spilling warm light across the Nile's shimmering surface. You follow the soft sounds of splashing water and the gentle chatter of fishermen preparing for their morning catch. The river is their lifeblood, a vast, slow-moving highway teeming with catfish, tilapia, and the infamous Nile perch. You step down the riverbank. The soft mud